10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Welcome inside the Casanova Center. Eric Roedl, Deputy Athletic Director, will be with us in just a moment. We've got a men's basketball non-conference schedule for you. The Ducks just wrapped up on the HDC practice fields, trying to keep that 1-0 mentality. That was the theme from Coach Cristobal yesterday. It was the theme from talking with a bunch of the guys on the offensive side of the ball today. We talked with CJ Verdell, Maliki Matavau, who got his first career touchdown, DJ Johnson, who played two ways for the Ducks, got that decisive sack at the end of the game, also was in that tight end for the Ducks, and then Dawson Jaramillo and Ryan Walk. We talked with all those guys today. We also have, Joe Moorhead coming up, the Oregon offensive coordinator. His thoughts on the big win over Ohio State and the matchup with Stony Brook, 4:30 back at Autzen Stadium on Saturday. And Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach. We actually talked to him yesterday, and we had a very in-depth conversation about what the word "we" means. Seriously, stick around for that. It was Matt Ulmer unhinged. Truly, Matt Ulmer unhinged, if there was such a thing. Eric's laughing as he's sitting here next to me now. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl with us. Hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Joey. How are you?
I'm good. The interview, we did it yesterday because volleyball is actually in the air right now. They're traveling right now out to Washington, D.C., but yeah, Coach and I had a very spirited discussion on if broadcasters are allowed to use the word "we" when describing, the Ducks, for example, like the team. Do you have an opinion on this?
I think we're all in, right?
Okay.
It's all of us.
So Eric agrees with Matt. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I thought that it was, a great compliment that Matt was like, no, like, Joey, I look at you as part of the team, but my point is that as a broadcaster, you just don't do that. Like, I don't like it when broadcasters presume to say the word "we" because, I don't know, it just feels wrong.
Well, what's more than norm,
it would be like the Ducks, right? Like, it would be like the Ducks need to run the ball better. It's not like we need to run the ball better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you. But you're still part of the crew.
Well, thanks. And this is what we've been getting to is that, like, if I was, the ESPN broadcast or even the Pac-12 Network broadcast, right? Like, then yeah, you wouldn't do it. But in the context of, I'm sitting here wearing
what's on your shirt right now?
That's exactly what you're going to hear Matt saying coming up in about 25 minutes. So you're on the same page as Matt. So thank you. I appreciate that. This is what I was trying to tell Matt, and those of you who are going to be with us later on will hear me try to tell him thank you for the compliment, but Matt just wouldn't have it. Matt just had to be right, as you can imagine.
Unhinged.
It was truly apparently Coach Ulmer got told that his conversation with me last week was the first time that people have actually been like, oh, so you're not just being funny. This is like the actual Matt Ulmer. So anyway, this is where we're at. Oregon football, a big win, and also men's basketball with a non-conference schedule that has been released. We'll talk about that. GoDucks.com/MBBTix as the non-conference schedule is, apart from the Maui Invitational and a matchup with BYU in the PK Invitational on November 16th, pretty much all at home, including a matchup with the defending national champion in Baylor. Not too bad of a schedule, huh, Eric?
It's a great schedule. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for our team to go out and put a quality resume together and really build into the conference schedule. You've got a couple of Pac-12 games there in December as well. And certainly the challenges of the Maui Invitational, which always has a really strong field. So we're excited about the schedule. Coach Josh Jamison, both of them did a great job putting it together, and looking forward to seeing how our guys can respond.
Texas Southern on November 9th is the opener. Southern Methodist then the following Friday, November 12th. Ducks will then, for you Portland fans, going up to the PK Invitational against BYU on Tuesday, November 16th. Tickets for that event go on sale on October 1st, so stick with us and more info to come there. Season tickets are available only for $165. That's where they start, which is, for a team that's been to 4 of the last 5 Sweet 16s, I think that's a pretty good price point.
Yeah, it's a great experience at Matthew Knight Arena. We'll have a great team, great product on the floor, bring a lot of energy, and we want to fill that building. And that's something that our student athletes really feed from.
Can you believe we're already talking about basketball and it's Tuesday, September 14th?
No, but it's awesome.
Yeah,
bring it on.
Great. It's pretty great. So the Ducks are 2-0 on the football field. You were in Columbus. I saw you on the field the whole time. What was your experience like from down there?
Hopefully I was maintaining my composure down there.
Well, I thought it was an appropriate level of an extement, right? There has to be some.
Yeah, no, it was an incredible experience for everybody involved, for all Ducks. It was just an amazing performance by all of those associated with our football program, and to be dealing with the kind of adversity that our student athletes were dealing with not only going into a place like the Shoe and playing Ohio State, and what was the last loss there? 2017.
A long time. Let's see. Ryan Day was 23-0 as the head coach at Ohio State in the regular season, so it's been at least a few years.
Yeah, so just the type of performances they've had there in recent years, and the type of program they have, and a noon start, which is 9 a.m. our time, and then some of the injuries that we were dealing with, to deal with all that adversity and go in and just put together a complete performance. It was just so much fun to be a part of. We had a great fan base in Columbus. I think I'd say it was 4,000 or 5,000 all said and done that we had there, and
none of them wanted to leave.
They made a lot of noise. That celebration down in the end zone with our fans and our players after the game was pretty special, really cool, and again, it was a testament to the kind of foundation that's being built in our program, and the student athletes are competing at such a high level. They believe they're one of the top programs in the country, but again, it's a one day, a day in, day out mentality, and they're truly focused, week to week.
A celebration like that in a place like that against a program like that, where does that rank for you in moments just off the top of your head in your position?
Yeah, I mean, you always love to see your student athletes experience success at the highest level. I think back, here at Oregon, some of our student athletes have had some incredible achievements. You think about national championships by our track and field and the Triple Crown, and you think about what our women's basketball program's done and when they beat Mississippi State to get to the Final Four, and men's basketball beating Kansas to get to the Final Four, winning Pac-12 championships, football beating Florida State to get to the CFP. So we've had, in my 9 years, we've had a bunch of incredible performances by our teams, but that one is right up there. It was just such a symbolic win for our football student athletes.
So 9 years you've been here. Did you schedule Ohio State, or was that done before you got here?
Yeah, so that was in my first year here.
All right.
And that was the
It's come full circle, guys. It's come full circle.
That was one of the first big series that I worked on, and it was the ironic thing about that is I scheduled that with Martin Jarman, who is the AD at UCLA and was the senior associate at Ohio State that was responsible for football scheduling. And also, ironically, one of the hang-ups that we had with that series was our concern about what the kickoff time might end up being as dictated by television. Right. So there was a lot of back and forth over that, and obviously it didn't work out for us because we ended up playing at noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. But yeah, it's a great series, and we're always looking to have opportunities like those to go out and compete against the best teams in the country.
We hit on this a little bit, but what's the next opening? You said like 2032 when they could come back to Autzen after last year couldn't happen.
Yeah, so that was that was a real disappointment. We were building towards that 2020 schedule for several years, and it wasn't just Ohio State. Yeah. We had a really strong slate set up for 2020. But, yeah, when we looked at how are we going to try to rectify this with Ohio State and the way they were scheduled out and the way we were, 2032, 2033. So we did a home and home there. With this game, with this series in 20 and 21, we figured out an alternate arrangement, it all worked out.
Yeah, it's wild, though. The puzzle, as always, I feel like been complex. It's like a massive puzzle that you have to fill out years in advance. And now it's added a whole nother layer with the 20 cancellations, right? I mean, how much has that really added to your layer cake, if you will?
Yeah, we've got to figure out we actually have figured out North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if we placed them in 27 or 28, and then we're figuring out where to place Hawaii as well. And now the exciting part now is, what's going to come of this alliance,
right,
with the Big Ten and the ACC. And, are the conferences going to take another look at how many conference games they play to potentially free up more non-conference opportunities and how we're going to slot those in? The thing that I really like about it and as part of that vision is, being a little bit more responsive to where teams are competitively and creating really compelling matchups across the three leagues. So time will tell with that, but that's something that's on the horizon.
Yeah, one thing on that front, and we've talked about it, and we've heard from Commissioner Kliavkoff about this and the other commissioners in the alliance that they're not just going to rip up contracts, right? Like this is going to be kind of the long play, I guess, is maybe the best way to describe it. For someone sitting in your chair, I mean, when you're kind of digesting all that news, you're seeing what it's going to look like. Imagine there was a lot of excitement. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting in talking to you right now, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you look across the three leagues and the types of programs that you have and the types of matchups that you can develop, I think there's a lot of opportunity to create some really good, opportunities for our schools to go out and compete and build a strong resume. Ultimately, it's about, getting a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs, a lot of visibility, and having opportunities to perform at the highest level. And ultimately getting teams into the college football playoff when you're talking about it from a football perspective, and growing all those fundamentals that feed into your media value.
Deputy AD Eric Roedl, our guest. One final note on that front, just the realignment talk. We kind of touched on how this is a really up and down, tumultuous time in college sports. Things are certainly in flux and changing. How much do you track the alignment talk and just all the different news that comes with that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shifting parts right now. And, yeah, I mean, you have to pay attention. You have to be dialed into all of that. At this point in time with the Pac-12, I think things are pretty stable. But, it's all one ecosystem, if you will, and certainly there's a lot of shifting right now, with Texas and Oklahoma, and then what the Big 12 has done with adding 4 schools, and that's going to continue to trickle on, through the FBS. So, we'll continue to monitor all that, and certainly we're going to be dialed into it. But it's interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, it feels almost like a video game to me sometimes, with just how fast things can move and these sort of ideas that used to just be, well, what's going to happen? Oh, this could be fun, and now that's kind of what's going on, right?
Yeah, and every college president, athletic director, board, they're always going to explore what's best for their institution, and that drives realignment. And certainly with the multimedia rights, different differentials across different leagues, schools are going to be exploring those opportunities.
When we come back, we got to talk a little bit about some of the game day protocols because we're back at Autzen Stadium. Eric Roedl, Deputy Athletic Director, is here. Jeffrey asking a question. Moe Center closed again on Saturday. That is correct. The Moe Center will be closed again on Saturday per guidance from Lane County Public Health. I want to dive into some of that next and then get into some of the fun stuff with you. We haven't done that yet, I promise.
Let's do it.
All right, Eric Roedl is here. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota. Let's go places.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, joined by Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl. Kind of have to take some time out of his busy schedule for us. What else is on your calendar today? You got about 5,000 more meetings?
Oh, I just did the introductory kickoff meeting with the baseball team.
All right.
That's always fun.
Woo!
Yeah.
Baseball is back. Yeah, Coach Wazikowski is actually going to talk to the media tomorrow. We'll have that for you on the show later this week.
Yeah, this is when they do their 2 weeks of kind of fall camp before the start of the fall term, and that's like a kind of a special carve-out that quarter system schools have so that they can get in and get acclimated and get some practices in, and those guys are excited. Really strong foundation was laid last year, and looking forward to seeing what they can do.
That's cool. So you oversee tennis, both tennis teams, baseball, heavily involved in a bunch of other sports. Did I miss anything? What else is on your daily schedule?
I don't know. I'll have to go back and check.
Eric Roedl, Deputy Athletic Director, joining us. Hey, one thing we wanted to hit on today, there are some updates to the game day protocols for fans. Those of you who are in attendance for the opener against Fresno State, protocols will remain the same. It looks like everything going to be reviewed on a week-to-week basis, but per guidance from Lane County Public Health, everything will be remaining the same, which means the Mashofsky Center's closed, proof of vaccination required or a negative test to enter the stadium. Concessions, we know that the lines were long. We're working on that. And what else can you say, Eric? What else do I need to hit on?
Yeah, I think, with the Fresno game a couple weeks ago, it was a good kind of kickoff for us, and we certainly had some hiccups along the way, but it was awesome to get fans back into Autzen and get the energy, get the juice going in there. Mm-hmm. And we know that there's some operational things that we got to try to get cleaned up. You touched on them. Starting with entry, I think entry went overall pretty well.
I agree.
Mobile ticketing, that's an educational process with our fans, and we need to continue to become more efficient there. But I think overall things went pretty well with mobile ticketing. We really encourage everybody, again, this week and in the coming weeks to, try to get in early, come into the stadium early, and enjoy, the pregame activities, practice, the anthem, everything that's happening in the stadium. And, be comfortable and not try to be part of that mad rush as we lead up to the first quarter. And we've got some messaging on the external video board of the new scoreboard that faces out into the east lot. So pay attention to all the messaging on that board for game day information. And, yeah, you touched on concessions. That was certainly a bit of a pain point for us in that first game. We were short with groups and staffing, and that – resulted in fewer points of sale and long lines and some frustration, and we're well aware of it. We're working hard to try to be as efficient as we can with concessions and provide the best customer service that we can in that area. And I know that we're going to have more stands open and things are going to improve. We're not going to be back to full speed by any means. We're not at 100%. And I don't know if you've been mentioning this on your show, but we absolutely encourage anybody who has a group or who is looking for some hourly work to reach out, and we will find something for you to do to help out on game day. We're trying to do the best that we can to make sure that we can meet demand.
Yeah, especially with concessions. I mean, a lot of times those stands are really powered by a group, right? Like a group that we're hoping it helps support the community at the same time.
Yeah, those are great fundraising opportunities for groups to come out and generate some money for their organization. And, we've got some room for some groups for sure. And, you touched on the protocols. I think overall, most of our fans were pretty good about masks and masking and being respectful of those around you. And we just encourage everybody, we're all in this together. We've got a set of protocols that have, been developed in coordination with our local health authorities and with our campus incident management team. And we're going to continue to monitor that. And where we are right now, as Joey said, is the same place we were with the Fresno game. And, please, pay close attention to the protocols and do your best that you can to be respectful of those around you.
Yeah, especially with how things are rapidly changing. We've all seen that, and the protocols can change, and we hope that they're changing for the better. But we do want to say, and I've definitely felt this talking and having these conversations, that hey, they could change for the worse too. And if this is what it takes, to be at Autzen Stadium at full capacity, then do everything that we can to make that happen.
That's exactly right. The better job we all do with the protocols that are being handed to us, the more confidence that our local health authorities will have that we can pull off games with full capacity and also keep everybody healthy and safe. And like you said, when we start to not meet those expectations is when we start to put ourselves at risk.
4:30 kickoff. Stony Brook is in town. The Ducks back at Autzen Stadium. Parking lots will open at 12:30, so a 4-hour before kickoff time again. Gates at 2:30, kickoff at 4:30, and then the Ducks are going to take down the Seawolves of Stony Brook. That's the plan. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, do we miss anything? What else is on your mind?
No, I think you got it, Joey. We're looking forward to another big weekend and bring on the Seawolves.
Go 1-0 this week, will you?
Let's go.
That's the plan. Go 1-0. Deputy Athletic Director Eric Roedl, kind enough to join us here in the Country Financial Studio. When we come back, it's what you've all been waiting for. It's Matt Ulmer Unfiltered. Seriously, you guys are going to laugh at this. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. It's Monday afternoon when we record this, so we're playing the Inception game with you again. And Matt Ulmer's here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start lefty today.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I figure, it just seemed appropriate to switch it up. It was a great showcase of talent at Matthew Knight Arena this past weekend. I just want to say, I was so sad that I couldn't be there to watch and enjoy some pretty high-level volleyball. Let's start there, Coach, before we talk about your trip coming up. Mm-hmm. That was some pretty great volleyball that was on display at Matthew Knight Arena.
Yeah, we definitely missed you, for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you got it. It was great. Our team played really hard, and I thought it was a fantastic win against Penn State for us. Great performance, very team-oriented, piece of artwork there, because we even had Becca Morse, who's 5'6", get in the front row and get some action there. So it all we needed everybody. But I don't know if we've ever swept Penn State before. So that was really cool, and to do that in our gym in front of fans was great. And then against Minnesota the next night, we had our chances. We were up 2-1, and we were up late and just couldn't close it out. So there's things. One of the really great things about this weekend is you can really see what you need to get better at. I think you can really pinpoint some things, and we were able to do that. And I think the team is extra motivated, to continue to, progress.
Well, you guys, I mean, we talked about this last week, Coach. Like, you schedule these as it's just like an awesome showcase of talent, but it is kind of a litmus test, right? I mean, and so you kind of know where you're at. So Minnesota goes 2-0 in the little miniature tournament this weekend. Just holy cow! I mean, you look back at this at the end of the season, and you're probably like, okay, yeah, we're really glad we scheduled those. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think last week against Rice, that was really important for us to be in that match. It was really competitive on the road and have a good atmosphere on the road and come out on top and perform in clutch situations. And then, same this week. Yeah, you bring two of the best programs in our sport in our gym, and you have your chance to go compete. And I thought we competed really well. And again, I think, our team should come away with a lot of confidence after this weekend, that we can play at a really high level and we can go even further this year than we did last year if we continue to put the work in every day.
So you're 6-1 heading into a trip to Washington, D.C. The Ducks are now number 13 in the latest poll. We've talked about this before. Like, you look at the polls, you kind of keep track of where you're at, but you're trending in the right direction if you're staying in the polls. We're almost to the opener for Pac-12 play. You keep track of where the Pac-12's at in the polls right now? You kind of keep track of their schedules right now?
Well, I still vote. I'm a voting member on it, so
right.
I probably.
So you do. So yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes, because I'm trying to figure out who to put on my ballot. Right.
But do you have to recuse yourself when you vote for yourself?
I always penalize us more.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think I have us worse than what we are. I don't know if I believe it, but it's okay. It's whatever. It's a polite thing to do.
Can all the other coaches see your ballot?
Yeah.
Like, how does that? So you have to, right? Like,
I think so.
I feel like there's almost like, so if you just keep ranking yourself number one, they'll be like,
yeah, it's Ulmer again.
Right.
Yeah,
you
put
can't do that,
one.
Right?
I mean, I could. I don't know what would happen.
Does anyone else?
Not that I know of. But that's never stopped me before, so.
I guess it's time to look.
Yeah, I gotta do it. Yeah, but I think, we're in the mix.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I think we're in the mix, and in the Pac-12, there's 6 teams right now ranked in the top 25, and others that are close to being ranked, and that's what it is every year, right? So no new news there.
I wanted to ask you about a couple specific instances when I was tuning in from Ohio. You're out of substitutions at the end of that third set against Penn State, and then you get that critical block from Taylor Borup to win. I mean, can you just walk us through, like, and you probably talked about this a little bit post-game, or post-match, I should say. Can you walk us through just, like, that sequence and what's going through your mind as a coach when you go into those extra points in the third set, and how critical it was to close it out?
Yeah, in general, I play to win.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our substitutions, we do the 6-2, so we're always using 2 subs. Every three we're using another 2. So, and then we have a serving sub of Becca Morse for Abby Hansen. And so we have 15 total subs that we could use. So once you get through, 3 rotations, you've done it all. And the third set with Penn State was point for point. It was side out, side out, side out. And so then you're just burning through subs really quick. So it happens. All last year, we never had this situation. We ran out of subs a ton, but we never got it to where Becca would come back around, or even really to get into the 5-1 situation, which we did both of those this time around. But Nunaviller had had banged up her ankle pretty good the day before, and so we're up 2-0. I really wanted to win in 3. I really didn't want her playing more than she had to. So it's like, again, we're gonna go for it and see what happens. And so you roll the dice a little bit, and it worked out. Kylie got caught in the front row with Morgan in the back row. Kylie makes a huge block to give us that point. And then with Becca in the front row, she's looking at me like, what do I do? And I'm like, just don't get hurt and get tips. And Taylor Borup made a great read and made a huge stuff block. And so we escape, with Becca in the front row. And I've said before, I think that's happened 6 times in my career where that has happened, and we won all 6.
Wow.
So it's interesting. I think teams, kind of get in this rhythm, and then when kind of the chaos happens, they freak out a little bit too, and so maybe they make a swing that they wouldn't normally make, and we capitalize.
Well, and can the other side really adjust that quickly, right? I mean, I guess maybe that's an unfair question. Like, Are they targeting her in that situation?
Yeah, well, I think you're trying to figure it out. So it actually happened against us with Minnesota.
Oh.
Their setter got taken out, and all of a sudden they switched what they were doing, and they started double subbing, and they didn't have a setter in half the time.
Oh.
And so it kind of makes your team focus in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, I really hyper focus. I have to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing because it's different. And then the other side feels like they're supposed to take advantage of it. And
pressure's
I think
on them a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can change you. So as opposed to just playing your game and doing what you do, that can happen. So it worked in our favor Friday. Yeah.
You mentioned the Minnesota match. I thought that was just two heavyweights going at it. You mentioned you were a little banged up. I mean, that certainly changed things, didn't it?
I mean, Nuneviller is amazing. Like, she did everything she could do, and I really, she's a great team player. Definitely.
Still had 11 kills against Minnesota.
Yeah. No, she was great all weekend, and I think the cool part in the Penn State match and Minnesota is, generally she has everybody else's back on defense, just picking up the trash and doing whatever she got to do. And I felt like a lot of her teammates had her back this weekend, which was really nice to see. And, other people stepped up. I thought Georgia Murphy was fantastic all weekend. She never gets enough credit, in my opinion, I think, because she just makes it look easier than most. But she was so good, and Taylor Bora passed really well against Penn State and tried to take more balls, and our right sides tried to take more swings because, Brooke was hurting. So I really appreciated the team effort and, everybody having her back.
After a couple top 20 battles, Matt Ulmer joining us in the Country Financial Studio. So, you talked a little bit about that key block that Taylor had in the Penn State match. She had 4 against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Has that part of her game really evolved, her ability to block like she's been doing?
Yeah, I think if she heard this, she'd be laughing really loud because
Really?
I'm just on her all the time. Yeah. So we have like our video system, and I can tag different things. She had 52 tags today of things that I comment. Pretty much all of them were her block. So, but she's working really hard at it. And then her assignment this weekend was 2 All-American opposites that she had to guard, right?
Not
so,
bad.
Right. So we really needed her to step it up. And the right side, the opposite from Minnesota, Stephanie Samity, is she's the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's a 4-time All-American, will be a 5th because of the COVID year.
First time that's got to happen.
I think so. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. But
Wow.
she's fantastic. And so we held her to 0 through the first 2 sets, which was awesome. And Taylor had a lot to do with that. She ended up getting hers at the end. But I think for Taylor, she's really trying really hard to become this great shutdown blocker that we're going to need her to be throughout the year.
Matt Ulmer joining us. How about the crowd? It was an awesome showcase. What was the environment like?
It's funny, we had 1,000 people, but it felt like so many because we haven't had anybody.
Right.
So again, it's hard when we don't have students on campus and everybody around. But
pit crew, come back.
Let's go. But I do feel like the fans that we do have are really passionate. They're really invested. That when I see them out, like our volleyball knowledge in the community, I feel like is growing. Like the questions are getting more specific, volleyball specific, and so it's really cool to see so many people in the community really invest in this group and applaud them and show up and cheer for them. And our team totally feels that, and we're just really thankful for them.
Did you do a pregame chalk talk?
Not allowed to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can't even really do that.
No one's allowed even on the floor. We're not doing autographs.
I feel like we got to come up with a way for you to have one of those like smart boards where you can like draw and then we show it up on the on night.
I'm sure the other team would love that.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
they'd probably love it.
That'd be awesome. Well, they're not welcome.
Love to know what our game
They're
plan
not
is.
welcome on the floor during chalk talk, right?
No, but chalk talk is normally during like the. Anyway, yes, we should.
Yeah, but they're not welcome.
We should figure something out.
Yeah, they're not welcome on the floor then. You
during their time to warm up.
That is your court. You tell them.
Matthew. 9.
See?
Yeah. Okay.
See?
All right. I understand.
We're onto something here.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I wasn't sure. I kind of assumed that you didn't get to do one, but
we haven't. We need to. I would like to. And honestly, we just miss each other.
Yeah.
I love doing the chalk talks. I love.
How can we make this happen in the studio? I guess we could take the whiteboard off the wall and you could just go like full on grease board.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to broadcast that to everybody.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's a Zoom option.
But Ben, what if it gets recorded?
Uh-huh.
See, I don't. Maybe we shouldn't do chalk talks.
That's why we have it. But if you figure it out.
Wait. Huh. My whole world has been shaken.
Well, I appreciate that you have the effort, to try and solve this for us. It's almost like he's part of the team, isn't it? It's kind of like that. It's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, almost. It feels like that's where he's going, Yeah. This whole interview has just felt really fake, to be honest with you. It's like when you run into an ex and you're like just trying to be cordial. That's what I felt like this whole thing has been forced.
Those of you who
this whole thing, I haven't liked one bit of it.
Those of you who were not with us last week, we had a debate. Can I just give the cliff notes and you can interject when you need to?
Yeah, it's just not accurate. But
well, you can. Would you like to tell us?
No, go ahead. Okay. It's your show with Joey Mack.
We had a debate because I had said, that I don't like it when broadcasters use the word "we" on the air, as if the broadcaster is part of
or
the
people.
team.
It wasn't just broadcasters. You were saying fans.
Well, it's really that's true. I did say that, but really the root of what I'm talking about is from broadcasters.
Oh, I see.
I really don't. I think that broadcasters are although part of the support staff in a lot of situations. Like, we're not competing on the floor. We have no impact on the outcome of what happens on the floor or on the field, and I don't think that it's fair for a broadcaster to say like we as if they're a part of it. That's what I'm really getting at. That's the root of it, and so that's what we were discussing. But Coach Ulmer, because he's
trash.
But Coach Ulmer, because he's such a nice human being.
Oh, don't lie to
nice
the people.
Guy.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
You are. A nice
I just
guy.
think you're so off.
You are a nice guy.
Oh, that part. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're so off. Yeah. You are a nice guy. He said, no, I feel like as, we promote the program and you come on the show, and Matt said that, well, no, Joey, you are part of the team. You can say we, and so I appreciate that. And I had it pointed out to me by more than one fan very firmly that you were giving me a compliment by saying that, and I was just so bullheaded that I had to try to prove my point with you.
Yeah. How'd it go?
Here we are. Well, I think that I'm still right, that broadcasters shouldn't say we on the air as a sign of professionalism. But thank you for inviting me into the
How
circle.
about fans?
I appreciate it. I think fans can say it if you think that's okay.
We need as many we's as possible.
Okay.
Right?
Because they help you guys win. That's why it's part of a we, right? They do have an outcome. They do have an influence on the outcome of a set, for example.
Do you think that Mario liked having the green sections there?
100%. Yeah. So you're saying that that if you identify as part of the greater Duck Nation, that you can use the word we when describing a team.
Sure hope so.
Okay.
It looked like a lot of Red fans there in Ohio State.
So I think for fans, I agree. It's one thing. Would you agree with me though that then as a broadcaster, as a sign of professionalism,
no.
like you I think you shouldn't do that. If you're the hometown team, that kind of crosses a line for me.
Well, why do you wear O? Why don't you just go neutral then?
I know who signs my checks.
Who?
Oregon. But
and you're part of.
Yes.
Okay. Missy Lombardi was just in here.
Yeah, she was.
What was her take on this, Joey?
Well, she didn't really have one.
Oh, excuse me. Now we're lying.
Coach Lombardi agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And she's not wrong.
Okay.
So you can do better.
Can I?
This is changing your mindset a little bit.
I think
there's opportunity for growth here. I think this
that
is exciting.
I come at it from very much the neutral broadcaster, though, to your point, because that's how I'm taught, right? That's how you're taught, and it's definitely different depending on which broadcast network you're listening to. But as the Homer call, which is what we are, right? We work for Oregon.
Right.
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that. I don't think that every coach would agree with you, but I do appreciate that that's your perspective. That means a lot.
Ugh.
Well, I just tried to be really sincere, and he just ucked me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
Anyway, you know why.
What don't you like?
You're a duck.
Thanks, man.
We're all ducks.
Thanks.
We got to stay together.
We are all ducks.
See?
Yeah.
That's right. We work together. It's all for our student athletes.
It is. That I agree with.
Oh.
100%.
Oh, good.
I think that what we are hung up on is semantics at this point.
I don't think so.
And it's a definition of a broadcaster professional.
I think it's to the core of if you're part of the team or not.
Okay.
So, come on.
Scott's just been over here laughing the entire time.
Jeez.
I want you to know we had a really productive conversation about your squad and volleyball for 10 minutes before we got
I'm really proud of them. I'm not so much. That's fine. But you'll do you're going to get there.
Yes, we will.
You're going to get this. Come on.
Thursday, 3 o'clock in Washington, D.C., the Ducks will take on Howard. Then they're going to play Harvard and American University at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. respectively on Friday in Washington, D.C. You excited for the trip?
Yes. Taylor Borup gets to go home.
Woo!
Really excited about that. She's playing so well. I'm excited for her to be around her family and her ex-teammates and friends. And, and this is always a great trip. Always enjoy it. And I think a lot of our players have never been there before, so hopefully we can do some sightseeing. That needs to change.
Can I come on the trip?
We would love to have you.
Yeah. You're flying out tomorrow?
Yep.
Any room on the flight?
Sure.
Okay. I could do some road broadcasts.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that.
By the way, how was your weekend?
It's great.
What'd you do?
Ducks won.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How cool was that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. It was a great period when you guys beat Penn State. Men's golf shoots a bunch of birdies and eagles at the end of it.
Soccer beat Texas.
Yeah. I mean, great period there. And then, of course,
we screwed it up
over Ohio State.
Yeah, and then we screwed it up.
Well,
I told the team, just screwed it up. That's okay.
What'd they say?
They started crying. No, I'm kidding.
Jeez.
No, I'm kidding.
That really took a left turn.
No, it wasn't great. That was a great 48 hours.
Yeah.
The whole weekend.
A 5-set thriller, though.
It was great.
When you're banged up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got Howard,
a lot
Harvard,
of quality stuff.
American University. Come back with 3 wins, will you?
We're going to try.
We will be proud.
Thank you. See?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. We're changing. We're changing his life right now. One day at a time.
To all of you who commented and pointed out that Matt was giving me a compliment, I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too. Thank you.
And to Matt, who might be one of the few people that is more bullheaded and stubborn than I am, thanks for being in the studio, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Always appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, have a safe trip, okay?
That was nice. That felt better. I had to get that. We had to readdress.
Did that feel better?
Yeah, I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes or whatever,
you could have just brought it up right away and been like, Joey.
I could have, but you went right in. And I was like,
Joey,
no, what am I gonna
Joey,
do?
we need to settle something here.
Yeah.
Like,
we got there.
You are part of the team. I, as the head coach, feel that way.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Can
you say that?
I'm proud of you.
Are you going to say it?
I'm sorry, what? Go Ducks.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach. Oh, that was a way longer segment than I thought it would be. Hey, safe travels.
Thank you.
Bring home 3 wins, and we will be proud.
See you next week.
All right. Maybe. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Go Ducks.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages.
It's been so long.
Nope, sorry, Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. We are happy to have you joining us in the studio today. See, Coach is. I did text Coach Ulmer a little bit yesterday, and it was a good exchange. Matt and I, as all of you can imagine, Matt and I go back a ways. Maybe you couldn't tell from that interview. I have no idea, but we go back a ways, and well. It was a good conversation. Anyway, let's hear from Joe Moorhead, a little less unhinged than Matt Ulmer. Joe Moorhead, the Oregon offensive coordinator, previewing the 4:30 kickoff against Stony Brook and talking about the win over Ohio State.
Whatever you feel comfortable with sharing regarding the unbalanced formation. Last season, you used it quite a bit with the covered receiver and obviously hit Travis a couple of times out of that. It posed a lot of challenge. I get it. You used it throughout the game yesterday, starting heavily on the runs, and then went to it on that critical conversion to DJ late, and Chris executing the block. Share for me a little bit just the confidence to put Chris in that spot on that play in particular, but also just the thought process as a coordinator of how you go about using such a tactic strategically and what you're seeing from a defense. And I realize I don't want you to give away everything here, Joe, but for what you're able to share regarding this particular formation.
Yeah, against a defense of their caliber, you want to be able to utilize all the formations available to put yourself in position, particularly in the run game with your numbers and your angles and the ability to get people in space. And when we went to that unbalanced formation, Ohio State was a big cover 3 and cover 1 team, and essentially got all their secondary support shifted over to the field and left them a little bit weak to the boundary. And we felt that was an area that we were going to be able to attack throughout the course of the game. And that was a big formation going into it.
Joe Mario said that Cam is likely out for the entire season. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, he's wanted nothing but to get back on the field and play. And he catches the one ball, gets the first down, then he gets injured again. What he's meant to the tight end room, maybe what his legacy is with Oregon, and just your thoughts about him as a player overall.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Cam as a player prior to my arrival. And then when I first got here, and certainly he's been battling the injury bug and trying to get back on the field, and has worked his tail off to get to the point where he was able to step on the field Saturday in a huge game and, to make a big play in that situation, and had done well up until that point, with his run blocking. Your heart just goes out to the young man just because, he fought so hard and he's such a great kid, and, was getting to the point where he's going to continue to contribute in a very significant manner. So, like you said, your heart just goes out to him. He's a great kid. He's a very good football player, and I'm sure he'll continue to work and bounce back.
Yeah, Joe, can you put into context how well the offensive line played? It's a position where there's no stats for them to look at and easily point to. And just how would you say that performance ranks just in your coaching career? It seemed like they were pretty stout all game long for you guys.
Yeah, up there towards the top. And obviously with Coach Mirabal and Coach Cristobal, they get PhD level coaching every single day. Ohio State's front seven, with their D-line and, and their backers, are like we mentioned last week, all 4- and 5-star guys who have, played at a very high level and will continue to play at the next level, I would imagine. But, Coach Cristobal always talks about the culture of our team and physicality and mentality and win the game at the line of scrimmage. So that to be able to run the ball like we did against a defense of that caliber, the credit all goes to the guys up front.
Coach, maybe what are some measuring sticks you use from a statistical perspective or otherwise to kind of measure excellence in the game? And I assume one play for loss out of about 75 is probably one of them. Yeah,
one play from behind the line of scrimmage is really good against that defense. You talking about like other statistical barometers, like aside from those, what do we look at?
Yeah, I guess maybe what are some things you've noted in this game particularly that stood out that kind of measure why this was such a strong performance for your group?
Yeah, I mean we have 7 offensive goals that we chart on a weekly basis. The first one's to win the game, which means obviously giving up or scoring one more point than the defense allows. Explosive plays, turnover margin, third down conversion percentage, red zone touchdowns, out rushing our opponent, and then winning the fourth quarter. And we did all those except win the fourth quarter. So it was good to be able to check off 6 of the 7 boxes from an offensive perspective.
Coach, you guys struggled with some inconsistencies in that first Fresno State game, but looked like you definitely turned it around clearly in Columbus. What do you think was key in that effort, just being more consistent?
The first thing is you got to give, to me personally, you got to give credit where it's due to Fresno State. I mean, that's a good football team and a good defense. Would play the game, and I think they won again this week, and have a big game against UCLA. But there's a cliche that the most improvement that you see from a team is from week 1 to week 2. But I don't know that I can pinpoint it to anything specific other than Coach harps on 1-0 process and practicing well during the week, playing with great effort and executing the scheme. And I know the kids understood the magnitude of the game playing at the Horseshoe, against the top 3 ranked team. And, I think we just stuck to our process. We had a very good week of practice. The kids, played hard. I think we won the battle at the line of scrimmage and elevated our level of execution against a very good football team.
Your offense has been really balanced through these first 2 games with only a 47-yard difference between rushing and passing. However, while you have used only 3 players in the running game, you have distributed the passing targets among 13 different players. Is this due to different situations that may happen during the games, or is it just a roster and personnel issue?
The success of our offense and ability to score points and create explosive plays is always predicated on our ability to run the football successfully. And I think that's something that we've demonstrated this year and over the years in this system. And once people commit numbers to the box, either by secondary support or pressure, it creates matchups on the perimeter that we look to exploit. So that to have this 50-50 balance, I've really had it everywhere except one place that I've been. And you have to call the plays based on, your personnel, not the other way around. But I think the fact that, we're able to spread the ball around and there are a lot of different guys making positive contributions at all positions speaks to our depth. I think it speaks to the coaching that the guys are doing in the rooms, and that it speaks to our, our chemistry and cohesion that, the guys really don't care who's getting the job done as long as it's getting done.
Hey, Joe, I'm wondering what you saw on film from Anthony that you particularly liked and where you think he can maybe still continue to improve.
From this past game?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he had another, very good week of practice. He was very decisive in the run game in terms of reads and, run pass options and where the ball went and why. I think he ran the ball very physically in critical situations, but particularly between the tackles, and put his shoulder down to get a critical first down there on one of our touchdown drives. I thought he made good reads. I thought he delivered the ball with fairly good accuracy. We had a couple drops in there. He was a little bit amped up and overthrew a couple of the deep balls. We got we have a saying in the room, 100% of overthrown balls are incomplete. So he's got to make some of those back shoulder throws or give it a little loft to make those guys have a chance to play it. But the biggest thing that stood out to me is his calm in the eye of the storm. And sometimes people can mistake Anthony's demeanor. But to me, that's what you want. You don't want a guy that's too high. You don't want a guy that's too low. And to go into an atmosphere like Ohio Stadium in front of all those people in a critically important game, and what they say, attitude reflects leadership, and to have the leader of your offense from a quarterback perspective, very, very calm, and guys are looking at him to take their cues. I think that's a testament to AB's maturity and his leadership.
Joe, can you speak to CJ? And like last year, you were learning him, and he gets hurt in his second game. I know he played 3 more, but now that you're having a chance this past, now that you're actually getting meeting rooms and more time with him now over the last year, and getting him 100+ yards these 2 games, what more have you learned from him over the last year, Joe, by way of off the field, about him, and obviously the on-field importance and what he's meant already and will continue to mean for you going forward?
He's a fantastic kid. He doesn't say too much. He's kind of quiet, keeps to himself, but he's very driven. He's very focused, and I think you see that he has the ability to run between the tackles and get the tough yards and play behind his pads, and excellent pass protector. Caught a few balls there, but you see against a defense with this speed, with the speed and athleticism of Ohio State, and when he split to the third level, was able to run away from all those guys. He's a very fast guy too. So I think we're scratching the surface of what he's able to do. Hopefully we can keep him healthy and keep progressing every week.
Joe Moorhead, a heck of a game that he called against Ohio State, huh? And meanwhile, the Ducks just getting another honor today. Verone McKinley has been named the Nagurski Trophy Defensive Player of the Week. That's a national award for that really game-sealing interception for Verone McKinley. Congratulations to Verone. When we come back, women's soccer honor and a relook at that non-conference schedule that's been released today for Oregon men's basketball. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Women's soccer, after their 1-0-1 trip this past weekend, though, I think that goal at the end of regulation probably shouldn't have counted, if I'm being honest, on Sunday. More on that later. But midfielder Zoe Hasnauer been named the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week for this past week. Conference announced that yesterday afternoon. Scored the game winner Friday at Texas and assisted Kess Elmore's goal at Baylor on Sunday as well. Pretty darn good for Zoe Hasnauer, huh? Non-conference schedule has been released for the Ducks men's basketball program. It's now available on GoDucks.com. GoDucks.com/MBBTix. Get your season tickets as low as $165. See you tomorrow.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.